My name is Mal Fleming. I am here to assist in your passage. Can you remember your name and the circumstances of your death?
Yeah, name's Tommy Doyle. Just call me Tommy. Good to meet you, Mel.
Oh.
I may be dead, but I can shake your hand still, right? Come here.
A pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine, Mel. Pleasure's all mine. And I died of bowel cancer. It's an awful way to go. Lord willing, you or your loved ones never had to deal with anything like that. And how are your loved ones, Mel? You got any family, wife, any kids? How are they doing?
Oh, no family. Parents aren't, they're no longer with us. And, no brothers or sisters. No kids, definitely, obviously.
Obviously? Why obviously, Mel? You got a job, you're not dead. You want kids?
I suppose I haven't found the right person.
That's the problem. You got to find a person first. They become the right one over time. I ate a good woman. She went to her reward a few years before I croaked. We barely knew each other when we married. But love isn't something that strikes like a lightning bolt when you first see someone. It's something that grows over time, but it's all right. Things must have changed, haven't they, Mel?
I suppose they have. Mr. Doyle?
I don't want to hear any Mr. Doyles. Call me Tommy, like I said. You mind if I smoke? See, back when I was alive, that wouldn't even be a question, but I know times have changed.
I'm not sure. If it makes you more comfortable.
You're worried about the tiger head, right? That's just how I look now. I can still smoke a cigar, and I appreciate it. I wouldn't want to make you cough or anything. Oh, sorry. I'd offer you one, but I'm not sure you can smoke them. Being alive and all.
Oh, I was curious if I would be able to smell it, but that is powerful.
Yeah, I don't beat around the bush when it comes to my cigars, Mal. If you're smoking something, just smoke something.
I can understand that. So, Tommy, is there anything I can do to assist in your passage?
Straight to business. I like that in a person. Mal, no dancing around, and out of respect, I'll tell it to you straight. Before I pass on, take the stairs up or down, get through that tunnel, open that onyx door. I want you to put in a good word for me.
A good word?
Well, who's ever behind that door? I just want to make sure I get a fair shake. Tell them that I do right by my friends, my family, and my party. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm afraid that I don't actually have any influence over what happens after you pass on. I don't actually know what happens, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, of course. I understand. You don't have to give up any secrets. But I could be a good friend to you, Mel. A real good friend.
Once again, I appreciate that, but I genuinely don't have any influence. This isn't some weighing your heart against a feather test. I'm just...
Oh, feathers and hearts. What are you talking about, Mel?
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Just a reference. It doesn't matter.
No. Tell me. I want to know.
Well, in Egyptian mythology, when you died, after you presented your case to the 42 judges, your heart would be weighed against a feather from the god Mot. And if your heart was heavier than the feather, it would be devoured by Anubis, Anubis was overseeing the process. It's another A god. What was it? Amit, head of a crocodile, body of a lion. He'd devour your heart and consign your soul to oblivion. And if your heart was lighter than a feather, you'd get to go to the field of reeds, paradise, basically. So this isn't that.
Yeah, see? I just learned something new, didn't I? You're an educated man, I take it, right, Mel?
I've been to college.
Yeah, I spent a few more years in school than I did, I believe. Yeah, I had to drop out at 13, but I got an education at the fish market, at the bar, at the fire station. I was always a quick learner. I know things, Mel. Things that can help me be a good friend.
Once again, I'm afraid that
Just listen to me for a while, Mel. I might not have any contacts in government anymore, but I can help you out.
Oh, that's not what...
No, you're smart. But you're new here. I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying it like it is. There are things about Greybriar that you don't know. Some dark things, some scary things. I can fill you in, and Bridget. She mentioned you were a curious sort. had questions about history, about how things actually worked, I can tell you, there's lots of misconceptions about the party, the work we did.
You've talked to Bridget?
Of course. Good Irish girl, sharp as a tack, and a hard worker, too. Mal, are you surprised we talked to each other?
No, not at all.
Us permanent residents, well, what else would we get up to? After she works for the widow Dotson. And I keep telling her she didn't have to do that. Every contract ends when she dies.
Exactly. Why does she keep...
Well, girls like Bridget, hard work is just the way they were raised. But I do get to talk to her when she visits a bar that isn't called Spirits. You know the story behind that one, right?
I've heard it, yes.
It's not much of a story, is it? Permanent residents can't agree on anything except what not to call something.
Do you think you could help me convince Bridget to pass on?
You know, I was acquainted with Bridget when she was alive. She grew up in my ward. She's a good family. The party helped her brothers find jobs. It was a small city back then. Well, part of it was, at least. And I'll tell you something for free. Bridget's not going to leave until she's good and ready to leave, especially since the widow Dotson is still here. See, that's how you'll get to Bridget. I'd wager, get widow Dotson to open the Onyx door and Bridget will follow. Maybe. She's a stubborn woman. I won't promise you anything, but I can't actually deliver. I'm an honest man now.
You don't have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell me.
Yeah, it's a few years after my time, though. The con man, George C. Parker, he is buried here.
Oh,
Yeah, passed on before your time. That talker, that one. Not surprising. Once everyone got tired of hearing his stories, well, that's when he opened the Onyx door. See, that's the secret of the swindle, Mal. You have to know when to leave. Now, maybe he decided he could swindle St. Peter himself. Who knows? Maybe he's even right.
Tommy, whatever you may or may not be able to help me with, and it's not that I wouldn't be appreciative of your help or that I'm not curious about your history, it's just I am genuinely unable to, as you put it, put in a good word for you. I have no idea what happens after you pass on. You know just as much as I do, perhaps more. I'm not dead.
There's always an opening, Mal. You just need to find the right hole to wiggle through.
Tommy, I can't be any clearer.
You're interested in the history, though, aren't you? Hearing about what it was really like?
Yes, of course. I enjoy hearing people's stories, their perspectives.
Yeah, one of the perks of the job. Well, how much do you know about Tammany Hall, Mal?
It wasn't a particular concentration of mine, but I know the basics. Democratic political machine, second half of the 19th century, first half of the 20th, controlled the patronage system.
Yeah, corruption, the Tammany Tiger, that cartoon with a bag of money for a face.
Reductively, but yes.
You see, now that's why I haven't joined Ada. Because what if the person behind the Onyx door, the person I have to explain myself to, what if he's a Protestant? One of those rich reformers who loved helping people as long as they deserved it. As long as I didn't have to shake hands with him. What if I have to explain it all to someone with the third at the end of his name?
I'm fairly certain St. Peter wouldn't be Protestant if...
Well, what if it's the god with the head of a crocodile?
A myth.
Gotta keep my options open, don't I? Can't be sure, can I? None of the priests mentioned anything about sticking around a graveyard for 100 years. Maybe that's what they were talking about in Mass. I never learned much Latin.
And you believe you'll be judged unfairly?
Me? The party? We already were. Why would death be any different? The thing to remember is, Mel, the people that wrote the papers, that wrote the history books, they weren't the people that needed help. You get off the boat, barely speak a word of English. Your entire family has been hungry for years. You got to send money back to them so they can join you, so you can see your kids again. You're hoping against hope that you haven't made the biggest mistake of your entire life. And what do? A few people from your village are in the city, but you don't know where they are. How do you find a job? How do you find a place to stay? How do you find a bite to eat? Well, that's where the Democratic Party comes in. We'll make sure you get to a block where people know you, speak your language. We can help you find a job. I mean, maybe even a government job. And those are good jobs, Mal, stable jobs. And we'll make sure you aren't alone. We'll make sure that there's picnics and dances, ice cream for the kiddies. And let's say your wife and children come over and you're happy for a few years. But then there's an accident at the factory. Or you get run over by a Vanderbilt's carriage. What happens to your wife? To your little babies? Factory boss isn't going to do anything. The party can make sure your wife gets a job and your kids are taken care of. They don't have to starve to death like the Brits hope would happen to them back in Ireland now. Isn't that worth a vote in an election, don't you think?
Perhaps more than one.
Who can say, Mel? Who can say? You see what I look like now, don't you, Mel?
Yes, a large man with the head of a tiger smoking a cigar.
Yeah, and that's all because of Nest. Propaganda. I was never trim, but I was never big, right? They say that Germans' cartoons brought down Tammany Hall. Now, first off, that's not true. We lasted for a good long while after he died. God let his soul never know peace. Second, the man was a bigot. People remember the cartoons with the tiger, with the money bags. They don't talk about the one where he drew Tammany Hall as St. Peter's Cathedral. Or the one where he drew the Irish as a bunch of drunken thieves. Now, how am I going to see 8A again with the head of a tiger, I ask you? Or maybe Ahmet will think I'm making fun of him having an animal head and all.
Once again, I don't have any influence on what happens after you pass on.
Yeah, you keep saying that, Mel.
Because it's true.
You know, I never had a formal title in the party. I kept my saloon, but that was more of a place to check in on everyone. Not that it didn't make money, it did, but you'd have to be an idiot not to make money in a saloon back then. I was the man you saw if you had a problem in the Fourth Ward. I'd get woken up in the middle of the night to bail someone out of jail. The cops knew me. I'd help them get their jobs, remember? Now, if you were a new immigrant, you were always the first to be fired, but not in government jobs. So the cops owed the party favors. And in the day, I'd make an appearance at a wedding, give a gift to the happy couple. I'd talk to my captains at the bar. They kept lists of everyone, their issues, make sure they remembered to vote the right way. And that's just the start of it. It was a long day. And you know something, Mal?
Yes?
No matter what happened, I'd find a way to get the things the party needed done. I would get those votes. Wickham wasn't going to lose because of the Fourth Ward, that's for sure. I remember this one man, Paddy, worked at the docks for 20 years, Mal. 20 hard years. He had a wife, 4 kids, all girls, sweet as could be. Paddy never gives a word of complaint, but one time, one of the ropes holding on to the boat snaps, drags across his face, across his eyes. Now, Paddy's blinded instantly. And, Mal, let me tell you, it's hard to make a living in New York, and it's even harder when they only want your strong back. And now, you can't even load your boxes because he can't see where to put them. Now, do you think his boss does anything for him? Do you think the shipping company does anything for him, for his 4 little girls, for his wife? They should. He's been working for them for 20 years, 20 hard years. No. The person who looks after him is me, Tommy Doyle. I give him money for the doctors, for his wife and children, and then I get him a job behind the counter at my saloon. And he learns quick. He's a good worker. And now everyone in the Fourth Ward knows that the party and Tommy Doyle will take care of them. And God forbid the worst should happen. Do you hear what I'm saying, Mel?
I could lie to you. I could say that, of course, I'll put in a good word for you, and then you'll pass on none the wiser, and I'll have done my job. But I do not want to do that. That feels unethical.
Oh, what can I say, Mel? I just feel like you've got an angle.
Perhaps that is a reflection of your worldview. I can assure you I do not have an angle.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having an angle. People are always thinking that if you help yourself. You can't be helping anyone else. It's just not true. You're helping yourself and you're helping the people around you, like in the bar. that isn't called spirits. I make sure everyone's talking to each other, make sure that the permanent residents who lived around the same time have interests in common, that they find each other. I start the bar songs, listen to the spirits' troubles, ensure that little nagging fear or despair on everyone's backs. It doesn't ruin the night. I do this because it makes everyone happy, because it helps people. And once they pass through the Onyx door, if they mention that their old friend, Tommy Doyle, did them a good turn, well, what's wrong with that? I ask you, Mal, do you see anything wrong with that?
From the way you present it? No.
Well, the way I present it is the way it's happening. Mal, now what do you think is on the other side of the Onyx door, Mal? What happens to us after the second death?
I have no idea. Like I've told you.
Yeah, but you got theories.
I suppose I haven't given it much thought. I'm not sure why.
See, I think it's just more of the same. Here at Greybriar, sure, I don't have to eat. I got a tiger head, but I'm the same person. I might have picked up a few new phrases. My accent might have lost its bite, but my voice is the same. I'm still me. The world's the same no matter how many times you die. That's what I think. And that's true. Then who you know, what palms you grease, it matters.
Is there anything I can say, any way I can convince you to pass on?
Well, say you'll put in a good word for me.
Is there any way I can convince you that I cannot do that?
I don't know, Mel. I was never one for hard and fast rules.
Yes, your discussion of graft made that very clear.
Hey, I never talked about dishonest graft, Mel. I saw my opportunities and I took them. Helped the people in my ward, too. There's a difference between honest graft and dishonest graft.
And what is that difference?
I don't think you'd hear what I had to say, Mel. Bridget, some of the other permanent residents, they say you're a good listener, but I don't know.
I could do my best.
See, I was never as big as Tweed. Not talking literally, you mind. He was a man of appetite, and he was vilified for it. Wall Street types hated him. They tolerated him because he kept the rabble out, quiet. But he's the one that stopped the draft riots, you know? Or he got credit for it, and that's just as important. They loved that he knew how to get along. But the moment the mob got a little angry, the reins slacked just a bit, he died in the very jail he helped build. No, I was never as big as Tweed. It was Kelly. See, that's the trick. You have to be big enough to take your fair share, but small enough to be ignored when the people who were born rich decide that they've had quite enough of you. Thank you very much.
What are you trying to say?
Were you born rich, Mel?
To quote Orwell, I was most likely lower upper middle class.
Yeah, saying that makes you sound like you grew up rich.
Well,
at a certain point, you get rich enough to buy a conscience. You can afford your precious principles. I remember Teddy Roosevelt. He took a mess of our ideas, by the way. He didn't give us credit. He went to his grave talking about how his father was the best man he ever knew, Mr. Greatheart, everyone called him. Because he started a few charities, was able to make the good show of being sad about the predicament of the poor. Maybe some of them didn't even deserve to be poor. Not most of them deserved it, but some could work their way out of it. If they didn't drink, didn't have fun, went about the life the right way, but when the Civil War came around, yeah, good old Mr. Greatheart bought his way out of fighting for his country, paid for a replacement, an immigrant, someone from my ward, someone like Blind Patty. Oh, when it came down to it, fighting was just too dirty for him. See, they're all like that, buying their way out of a problem, making sure they get the good treatment.
And why not you?
That's right, Mel. Why not me? Why not everyone who was born like me? Everyone who grew up in a crowded tenement? Everyone who didn't have their daddy's money to fall back on?
Do you want me to lie to you? If it makes you... I won't feel good about it, but I will.
No, I don't want you to lie to me.
You want me to put in a good word for you. You've made that point very clear.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I don't have any influence over this process, whatever it is, whatever happens beyond the Onyx door. I don't think that I could judge people. Not really. I get too attached to their context. The world shapes everyone so much. How could I condemn someone when the world itself constrains their choices? I'd have to blame me too, I guess. And sometimes I think the ancient Egyptians had it right. No justification, just weighing your heart against a feather. And I know it's metaphorical. I know, but no heart is lighter than a feather. Everyone is going to be devoured by a mitt. Maybe no one deserves forgiveness. Or maybe everyone does. I can't put in a good word for you, Tommy. I can just tell you that your heart isn't going to get any lighter by spending any more time here.
So you will put in a good word for me, as much as you can. Much as anyone can.
As much as anyone can.
Good. Good to know. You think whatever's beyond the Onyx door will remember what I've done? Or what I've really done to the fourth ward, to the other spirits?
Perhaps.
I hope I'm judged by someone far better than me. Or you. Maybe not fair, but better.
I hope so too. Tommy Doyle. Passage completed.
You've been listening to Conversations with Ghosts, a Dead Signals production. For complete cast and crew credits, check out our website at conversationswithghosts.com. Dead Signals is an independent operation, and we're supported by our patrons. If you like what you hear and want to support the work we do, go to patreon.com/archive81 to sign up. You'll get a bunch of fun extras, including behind-the-scenes Q&As, music, and access to the first podcast Mark and I ever made together. That's patreon.com/archive81. As always, thanks for listening.